Today on the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast, the nightmare becomes reality. You know what I'm talking about. So get ready, because I'm all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hello, I'm Dennis Michael Lynch, and I thank you for joining me today. So what are we going to do here? We're going to go into a show where I'm going to frighten you and tell you about how the big bad wolf is going to be coming out and getting you and taking you away in handcuffs. A little bit. But I'm also going to tell you that, you know, the reason why everybody loves Rocky Balboa is because Rocky never quits. He keeps getting knocked down to the mat. Keeps on getting bloodied, and he just keeps getting up. And even Apollo Creed stands over him and says, like, come on, man, how much beating can you take? If freedom was an easy thing, I wouldn't even have a podcast. You wouldn't care about what's going on in the government, in your town. You just get up every day and you go about it. And there's lots of people who do that. And that's one of the reasons why we're stuck in this spot. And, you know, there's one thing that I always read on Facebook. It's a recurring theme, no matter what video I put up. I think I'm as articulate as anybody when it comes to explaining the problems that we face. And I could usually put it into a good analogy or good metaphor for you. My wife always says, she goes, people just love the way you break down complex issues. Well, one of the things that I feel that a person like myself also has a responsibility for is to provide solutions. And so when I look on the Facebook feeds, I always get, okay, we get it. What's the solution? And the funny thing is that I'd probably say out of 10 times I bring up a problem, 8 times there will be a solution wrapped in there. And if I don't have one, I'll tell you, I got to think this one over. The issue is that the same people who are commenting on Facebook, what's the solution? They comment that even though I just gave the solution, but they're not hearing it. So the question becomes, are we as conservatives not explaining the solution well enough? Or is it that just some people are just so dang tone deaf at this point, there's no help? That one I don't have the answer to. It's probably a mix of both. Last night, I hired this publicist, and Stacy, nice young lady, and originally from New York, lives down south now. And she just started with me on November 1. And it's like she's a wild horse. I got to try to harness her. Be like, hey, you got to slow down a little. I mean, you can't stop her. She wants to get me on 5 million shows. And I love it, because that's ultimately what we're looking to do, and that's what I'm paying her for. But I said, you got to slow down a little bit. We got to slow down. She says to me, okay, you know what? It'd be great if I had some clips, because there are people out there who haven't heard of you, or there's people out there who haven't heard from you in a long time. I guess they want to see what I look like and what I sound like these days, whatever it may be. I said, let me get you some clips. So late last night, in fact, I posted 2 of them to my Facebook page. I took one with me and Megyn Kelly going back a couple of years ago when she just launched her podcast. And at the end of that clip, it's pretty funny. Megyn actually says, she's like, boy, did I miss you. Did I miss the fire? Did I miss the passion? Did I miss the facts? Did I miss the knowledge? And while I was clipping those together for my publicist, my wife walked in and she said, Mamdani won. I can't believe it. I said, you can't believe it? I've been telling you for how long that this guy was going to win. How long have I said? every single day. This guy is going to win. People told me you were crazy. Curtis Sliwa was going to win. Curtis Sliwa got 8% of the vote. Not because he's a bad man. He's a bad candidate. He's tried before. He can't do it. And one can argue that he may have lost New York City in the sense that he didn't drop out of the race and fully get behind Cuomo. When you look at the numbers, there probably would have been maybe a point differential between if you combined Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa together. I think they came just around 50, little less than 50. And so far, without every single vote counted, Mamdani is a little bit over 50%. But you can make the argument that it was the person who didn't show up yesterday who said, Curtis is never going to win, and I'm never going to vote for Cuomo. And so they stayed home. So the question is, if we would have had a stronger Democrat candidate, would we be giving our city over to a communist, radical Islamic? I don't have those answers. What I can tell you is that we have ourselves a significant problem, and it's as much as true today as it was yesterday, if not more true, because the proof is in the pudding. And I hate being that guy who says, I told you so, but I told you so. It's not like I told you 2 weeks ago, 2 days ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago. I've been telling you this for the past 15 years. And I guess like everybody else, when you're pointing the finger at people, you got to look at the three that are pointing back at you. And, that's where I've been since Charlie Kirk was murdered. And, saying, hey, what am I doing? Charlie's putting himself out there. Once I'm getting shot, killed, life is taken. And I'm sitting back here being like, hey, man, when are we going out on the pontoon boat? And it's funny because I said to her when she came in and told me, I'm like, look, I'm editing the clip. I'll be in a minute. And she was on the sofa. And there is no person who pays a bigger price than my wife when I am going full throttle. Nobody. Because A, it leaves her to have to do many different things by herself in terms of for the house or, during the day or whatever. And then on top of that, she's got to try to keep me from, letting myself go unhealthy. And the minute I walked into that TV room last night, she lifted up over the sofa, turned to me and said, you can't retire. You've got to get more engaged. And she was just in on a meeting with my publicist 2 hours before, when I had the publicist meet the entire family, and even my wife. And I said, really? You want me to get even further deeper? She says, yeah, for our grandkids. We don't even have grandkids yet. But my wife, she's funny because she always calls herself the average consumer. She always just says, I'm the average consumer. So if my wife is sitting on the sofa last night from the warm palm trees of Florida and feeling concern about a state that we have no more affiliation with other than she has some family that still lives there, I got to imagine a lot of people, including yourself, are very nervous today, very scared. And there is real reason to be nervous, to be scared, because the changes in this country are so many. And, I took to Facebook Live last night, and I was making a sensational argument about why this happened, how this happened, and that very key people, including the President of the United States, needs to refocus. And as I was doing that, as I was hearing myself speak, I don't have it with me. It's upstairs in my bedroom, hanging on my lampshade. But in my film, They Come to America Too, a wonderful woman named Rosemary Kane, who lost her son on 9/11. He's a fireman, George Kane. She handed me a cross from the middle of the World Trade Center that used to hang on her bedpost, and she handed it to me, and she said, Dennis Lynch, don't stop fighting. For as long as you don't stop fighting, these 3,000 angels are going to protect you. And every day of my life since then, it's been a long time, I pray to George as one of my guardian angels. I swear to him that I will not quit. And every time I go in for an MRI or my daughter goes in for an operation or my wife is sick, I always take that cross and I hand it to them. If Ryan would even be able to tell you if he had a microphone in front of him. If Ryan gets on an airplane or if Ryan's going somewhere, he gets the cross. I hand this cross out to my family and I say it will never let us down. And it hasn't. It's protected us. Last night, I felt as if I didn't earn that cross. And the reason why I feel like I didn't earn the cross, and you should relate with me on this. I'm not just talking about me here. I want you to start transitioning yourself into hearing my words and wondering whether or not you shouldn't be saying the same thing. I'm very disappointed in myself. I feel as if I didn't earn that cross because maybe when I should have been yelling a little bit louder, instead I was playing golf. Maybe when I should have put a little bit more time into writing another newsletter, I went out to dinner. And this is not to suggest that your every waking minute has to be fighting in politics. What it means is that you have to remember that there is a pecking order. And when we let the pecking order fall to the wayside, when we don't remember that it is, God, country, family, when we put that to the side, we jeopardize everything. So today, when I look at today and I look at what it means that the Democrat radicals basically swept this country last night in an election that often doesn't turn out a lot of people because it's not even the midterms yet and people are just starting to get over the hangover of the last election. But there were record turnouts in some cases. And very bad people were put into office. Mamdani at the top of it. In Virginia, you got an AG and Jay Jones that despite text messaging that he wanted to kill a political opponent and their children, that the fact that he still got elected 2 months after the entire world watched Charlie Kirk pay with his life through political violence, just says to you, oh my God, are we in trouble? To my right here on the screen, you'll see a woman, Muslim faith. She is now the lieutenant governor of Virginia. And when she gives her speeches, behind her is a big, huge screen with Arabic writing, so I don't pretend to be able to tell you what that all says. But in English, it has a underscore of, he has named you Muslims. I told you on Monday's show that the difference between Israel lobbying the United States and CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood and, all these Muslims doing their role is that Israel's trying to survive. These people are trying to dominate and take over. And last night when Mamdani got up there, Mamdani, it's taking his first name and his last name, putting it together. When Mamdani got up there and gave his very rude and violent, evil-sounding thank you speech, if that's what you want to call it. We have clips of that, so stay tuned, stay in there. Van Jones, who many would be able to say is a communist in his own right, On CNN, he said, wow, that was a much different Mamdani that we've seen on the campaign trail. The guy on the campaign trail was more calm, warmer, and embracing. And I just wanted to laugh at that statement because, what did you think? Everything he put up was a facade. Everything he put up was a fake and a phony. I guarantee you that if the Department of Justice and Donald J. Trump actually stop traveling to Malaysia for a minute and focus in on this guy's citizenship, his application for naturalization, they're going to find dishonesty. And I can't understand for the life of me why it is that he's even able to be a candidate, let alone a citizen. He lied about who he aligns with and what he's all about. And there is a thing here in the United States called a denaturalization process. And it's for this very thing. For when someone misleads our country into thinking that they align with us and they want to come to America because they want to be an American. There's a difference between wanting to come to America to be an American and kiss this soil once you get here and wanting to come to America because you want to take it over. Now, that's not me saying that if you're not an Italian guy or an Irish guy or German guy, those are my three, mutt mixings, and you say, I'm going to America, I want to live there, I want to love that place, it's a land of opportunity, and you know what, when I'm there, I want to be a voice. I'm going to run for Congress. By all means, that's the beauty of America. But that's not what we're seeing. What we're seeing is people who take a look at the American system, albeit not perfect, it still remains the best system in the world. More people want to come here than want to leave here. We still remain the greatest country in the world, even though we have our problems. But in the same way that Barack Obama told you he wanted to fundamentally transform the country, and I think Barack Obama is probably tap dancing on the dining room table today because he got what he wanted. Last night was the actual finish line. Barack Obama can hang up the cleats and know that he finally got the campfire started, and now it's just a matter of just putting some wood in the pile. The fundamental transformation is official. So the question will be, what is it that we can do about it? And I am going to spend the second half of this show today giving you what I believe are the solutions and the only solutions. A couple of weeks back, President Trump was here in Florida with Ron DeSantis, and he was asked the question. He had ample time to know what was coming. He was asked the question about Mamdani and about him being a communist and taking over. Listen to this exchange, what Trump had to say.
Beloved, Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zoran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zoran Mamdani.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at the per capita, Florida gets 1/3 of what New York gets in terms of the numbers. Why don't you give us those numbers?
Yeah, well,
because that's what we should send him.
Yeah, well, like sometimes people say Florida gets more because they count Social Security recipients, but that's not money to the state. Those are seniors that live here. If they moved to North Carolina, you could count it there. So it has no interaction with the state government. They get more in the city and state governments than we get.
Right, substantially. We're going to be watching that very carefully, and a lot of people are saying he's here illegally. We're going to look at everything, but And ideally, he's going to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist. You know, I've always said, we will not have socialism in this country. In the speeches, I said, well, what? They skipped socialism. And you get a lot of them like that.
So Trump said in his own admission that he told people that, you know, we're not going to have socialism in this country. We're not going to have socialism. Well, I got news for the president, although I have the utmost respect for him, voted for him 3 times, and think in many areas he does the best job we have ever seen in my lifetime as a president. In other areas, I think he's either ignoring information or just not being given it. Last night was a referendum on capitalism. Last night was a referendum on the American system. Now, Trump put out a tweet last night that says this happened because of the government shutdown and the Democrats. No doubt that is a secondary issue. And most people who came out of the voting booth when they were polled, they said the economy was their big problem right now. And in Virginia, there were a lot of people who are out of work because they're government workers. This is not a government shutdown problem. I told you at the beginning of the show, Mamdani was a front runner for a long time, and there was no shutdown. We've gotten inflation down from the high point of the Biden administration of 9.1% down to 3%. It was actually 2.9 in August and just ticked up a little bit. We've cut it by 2/3. Stock market is up for people who have that kind of thing. Jobs are still strong, although they're starting to be lost to AI. And that is towards the bottom part of the show, the part where I'm going to tell you about the dire situation we're in right now. This is going to get worse before it gets better. And so at the end of the day, if the president is going to ignore the real reason why this is taking place, it's very hard to provide solutions and think they're going to work. They got to be implemented. If they're not implemented, then forget about it. We're wasting our time. One of the reasons why we lost last night is because our youth is being indoctrinated over and over and over by Hollywood, by the news media, by TikTok. TikTok drives anti-American sentiment to our kids. TikTok is just another weapon for China. And we sit here jerking around about who's going to buy it and take it over, and we just jerk around. We don't do anything. And the part that baffles me is that maybe it's because our ship is so big that we don't see the holes in the ship. But if my house, God forbid, went on fire right now, do you think I just look around and say, let me finish the podcast before we get out? No. I would do everything I have to do to save my home and save lives in here. I would take immediate action. Well, our country is on fire. We've got a hole in the boat, and we're just not taking care of the problem. This happened because we are overloaded. 20, 30 years of unvetted, unharnessed immigration into this country. Visa violations, visas being handed out like it's candy. Mamdani said it last night. He thanked the 1 million Muslims in New York. Who do you think they were going to vote for? Curtis Sliwa and his red little Riding Hood cap? No. They're going to vote for the person who aligns with them religiously and vote for the person who's going to give them all the free stuff. There's no question mark. If you've got people who believe that Trump is Hitler, and at the same time, they've got crazy amount of rents in New York, which isn't Trump's fault, by the way. I mean, this guy couldn't be more anti-Jew, and yet he's got Jews voting for him in New York. Ryan, play the clip of the Jewish kids championing for this communist.
Donald Trump just truth socialed that any Jewish person who votes for you is a, quote, stupid person. We are Jews who are proudly voting for you, proudly campaigning for you. What is your message to Jewish voters?
But I'm looking forward to being a mayor for every single Jewish voter, whether they're voting for me, whether they're voting for someone else, whether they're not voting at all. Because at the end of it, they're New Yorkers. They deserve not only protection, they deserve to be celebrated, they deserve to be cherished, and they deserve someone more than just a president who's looking to try and define what it means to be a good Jewish person in this city or in this country. It's time for us to actually listen to Jewish New Yorkers themselves, and that's the mayor that I will be.
So get out there and vote. L'chaim.
Vote. L'chaim.
So there you go. What do you blame that on? Is that bad parenting? Absolutely. Is it an indoctrination of our children at the school level? Oh, wholeheartedly. Is it TikTok? 150%. And we're allowing all of it to happen. We're allowing all of it to happen. And it's happening in real time. Last night, Mamdani was rude, abrasive, attacking, and spelling out clearly that New York City is now a Muslim Mecca. We have people who are here from the third world now dictating how it is that the first world operates. You want to blame somebody? Blame your congressman, blame your senator, blame your president. We don't need to have 1.2 million people coming in here a year, every single year, from all these countries, and then coming here and saying that we're going to fundamentally transform this country. We are pouring the gasoline into our own coffee cup and then drinking it. Play the first clip from Mamdani.
After all, the conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect candidate. I am young, despite my best efforts to grow older. I am Muslim. I am a democratic socialist. And most damning of all, I refuse to apologize for any of this.
Yep, there you go. The real Mamdani steps forward. Even Van Jones on CNN says it. In the next clip, you'll see that he just outright challenges the President of the United States. This man has no fear because he's not taking Trump seriously. And the reason why he's not taking Trump seriously is because when you threaten that maybe the governor of California is going to be imprisoned and you don't do it, when you threaten that you're going to put Hillary Clinton into prison and you don't do it, when you threaten that you're going to wind up you're going to arrest the governor of Illinois and you don't do it, what winds up happening is that you become Little Red Riding Hood. And so Mamdani has no fear whatsoever of President Trump. 0, 0, 0, 0. Play the clip.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up. We will hold bad landlords to account because the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. We will put an end to the culture of corruption that has allowed billionaires like Trump to evade taxation and exploit tax breaks. We will stand alongside unions and expand labor protections because we know, just as Donald Trump does, that when working people have ironclad rights, the bosses who seek to extort them become very small indeed. New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant. So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
And in reaction to that, Trump put out a Truth Social that just simply said, and so it begins. And this is the part of now where I go into the solutions. We are not going to give up. We're going to fight harder. That's the first and most important thing. If you are disturbed by what you have seen happen last night, you've got to figure out where do you play your part. Because it's not going to be like a fire hose to you. It's going to be a small chipping away at your freedoms and at your country. There's no doubt. And you'll get people that will say that, oh, that's racist. You don't like brown people. Listen, here's what I don't like. I don't like anybody, no matter what shape or form or color they come in, that is in my country and is not practicing what it is that this country was built upon. And so when I look at who the most dangerous people are, the people who fit into that category, the lion's share of immigration that comes into this country is not vetted completely. It is not vetted correctly, and all of it is wrong in the sense that it's based on chain migration and not merit. I mean, my daughter took more effort into vetting the camera and video guy for her wedding than our immigration system did for Mamdani. That's a problem. So the number one way to fix this problem, as I've said a million times, and I apologize in advance for being the broken record, but I am only going to start screaming this stuff louder. It took me literally 20 years to get that border shut down, finally. Championing all the time, saying the same things over and over and over and over again. Telling people, we don't need a wall. It's nice. It's like the salad next to the steak. I'll take it. But we didn't build a wall. And we've got a secure border now for 5 months straight, notwithstanding drugs coming in through tunnels. It can be done if there's will. Now my tune, and it's been my tune, I just haven't been screaming it enough, all immigration to the United States must stop immediately. Trump has this new $5 million Trump card. You want to keep that in? You want to say that we're going to get 100 or even 1,000 people per year who are going to pay $5 million to come in? And you're telling me that we can have the sort of vetting process that we need to ensure that what we're getting is worth $5 million? I'm for it. But for those of you who are my age or older, you remember I Dream of Lucy. All right. I Love Lucy. I Dream of Jeannie. I'm mixing them up. I Love Lucy. Remember I Love Lucy? Lucille Ball. There's an episode where she's standing at the conveyor belt. She's working in the candy factory. She's all dressed in her whites. And the little candies, the kisses, the Hershey Kisses, it look like, they're coming through on the conveyor belt. And she's picking them up one by one, wrapping them and putting it back, wrapping it, putting it back, wrapping it, putting it back. So this way they can wind up being packaged. And what winds up happening is they turn up the speed of the conveyor belt. And now she's trying to get them and get them and get them. And what's happening? There's ones that are getting by. Then they turn up the belt even faster. And it goes so quick that she's not even wrapping a single one of them. She's just putting them in her mouth. She's putting them in her apron. She's trying to take them off the conveyor belt. She's losing focus on what her job is because there's so many things coming in. She's not singly wrapping one. She's trying to stop the flow. That is our legal immigration system in a visual that is undeniable. Picking up, taking a look, wrapping and saying approved. We're not doing that. We just have the conveyor belt on and just go. And once in a while, we pick one off and say, oh, we caught one. Thank goodness. We got people in the country right now who are voting against the principles of God and our country. Remember what I said? God, country, family. So you have a responsibility, assuming that you're listening to me and you're Catholic, Christian, whatever it is your domination is, you have to remember that when we allow people into this country that do not believe in what this country was built on, which is Judeo-Christian principles, when they don't want that, that is alert number one. We do not want it. It does not mean that we hate a person, because I'll tell you right now, I don't care if the guy standing in front of me or the woman standing in front of me that is a radical Muslim is white, black, Latino, or Asian. I don't care. Give me the white guy. Give me the white Muslim. And I'm going to tell him that you do not align with me and my country nor my faith. And therefore, I'm not going to have you be a detriment to my family. If you want those sort of things, if you want your Sharia laws, if you want all the tenets of the Quran to be part of your everyday life and part of your government, like the case in Iran, well, then go live in Iran. You'll be very happy. If you want to do 5 prayers today, a day on a prayer rug out in public, stopping traffic, making other people have to just bow, bend, and pretend that you're not doing this, go somewhere else. This is not what this was built on. Okay? You don't go to an NFL football game in a tennis uniform and expect that you're going to see what it was, the volley of the ball going back and forth. No. You go to a football game, expect to see football. Don't start bitching and moaning when nobody's calling the score 30-love. We don't do that in football. We're not going to change our game because you came in a white shirt with white shorts and a tennis racket and wristbands with your hair combed nicely. That's over there in the other stadium. I'm sorry, you came here to a steak joint and you're asking me to make you pancakes? We don't do that. Do you get the analogies here? Do you get them? You don't go to the beach dressed in your ski uniform. So the number one way to solve the problem, Mr. President, is to cut it off. You just were given the great excuse, we can't vet people. This is a national security issue. We cannot vet people. That's number one. Number two, the stuff with TikTok has got to stop. Allowing TikTok into this country, allowing TikTok to get the information of every American citizen that uses that app, that is a national security issue. It is no different than them trying to hack into our systems in the Pentagon or trying to steal the IP, the intellectual property of businesses here in the United States. There's no different. There's no different viewpoint on this. They're coming in with TikTok. They're getting everything that you do, everything that your kids do. They've got your banking, whether you realize it or not. They got your social security number, whether you realize it or not. They got your address. They got everything they want on you, everything they need on you. TikTok's a poison. It's not about First Amendment. The only people screaming to keep TikTok are kids who have been brainwashed in it. So it's the equivalent of a drug addict or a drunk saying, I need my next hit. You got to just do the fast withdrawal. Boom. Rip the Band-Aid off. Get it out. The other people who want TikTok to stick around are the influencers who are making a fortune because the Chinese are paying them tons of money to brainwash and dement our kids. So when you look at the future of the United States of America, we're going to have a bunch of little kids running around thinking America sucks and Mamdani's great. The third part are freaking liberal women. I don't know how to stop that one. That genie's out of the bottle and you ain't getting it back in. But the best way is to make them the minority in terms of the numbers. The Democrat Party is absolutely splintered at the top of the leadership. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, all these freaking, half blind, can't walk because they just either drunk or 100 years old. They're going to be moving out of the way. And it's going to leave a gap. And Mamdanis of the world are filling that gap. If we don't empower people to have businesses, to thrive through capitalism, if we don't lower the taxes, if we don't make it so this way life is really cool and easy to live as a conservative or a Republican voter, we're going to lose the country long term because people are going to want to feel like they're part of something and they want to be able to afford it. You got two families. Let's say, for instance, you're an orphan. I don't care how old you are. You could be 80, you could be 70, you could be 17. You are an orphan. And God comes down to you and says, you could pick two different families. This one over here is dysfunctional. They're fighting against each other all the time. They've got their message, but they never really match their message completely. They're all over the place. And over here, we've got a family that sticks together no matter what through thick and thin. Which family do you want? 9 out of 10 people are going to wind up going to the functional, or at least looking like the functional family in terms of everybody gets along. That's the Democrat Party right now. You go take a look at any feed. It's Tucker Carlson's fighting this one. Steve Bannon's fighting that one. Candace Owens is just falling off the cliff. Everybody's arguing. The Heritage Foundation's going this way and this person's going that way. The infighting is insane. People aren't going to want that. Kids aren't going to want that. What they're going to do is they're going to get lured in by a Mamdani who's going to sell them, and I'm going to give you free. You're going to be part of me. I'm going to fight for you. It's all about us. They suck them in. So we have got to unify as a party. Stop focusing on Israel. Stop focusing in on Ukraine, Putin. Who's right, who's wrong over there? Who gives a rat's ass? We're losing our country right now because we've got our eye on the wrong thing and we're infighting, and it's a turnoff. Nobody wants to come to our family. If we showcase lower taxes, secure border, freedoms that come with capitalism and personal choice, and you have complete freedom to be what you want in this country, nobody believes that anymore. Go try to start a business tomorrow. Nobody believes it anymore. We've got to do a better job. And it starts with stop the infighting. So there's another solution. You are not going to change the liberal woman. She's always going to be the liberal woman. She's not going to make sense. To try to convert her over is ridiculous and it's useless. We don't need to. Remember, if there are 100 voters, we need 51. We don't need 75. Be a little bit more comfortable if we had 60. But there's no way to change the woman who I'm about to play for you right now. There is a woman who was just on Fox News explaining what her principles are and what she stands for. Play it.
I think what's really important and standing out for me right now is if we can take ourselves like a high level, like not say immigration, not say economy, not say all the hot talking points, and just ask ourselves, how are we treating our neighbors? Like, how are we treating one another? And is it okay that yesterday, on Saturday, 42 million of our neighbors no longer can feed themselves? Is it okay that our neighbors are getting taken off the streets by ICE? Is it okay that gender-affirming care is being taken from young people who really need it to survive? Is it okay that the Supreme Court has now justified racial profiling? That's not how I want to treat my neighbor.
How she wants to treat her neighbor. What this woman is about to learn is that radical Muslim extremists like Mamdani don't give a rat's ass about what she cares about. They don't see her as a neighbor. They see her as a slave. You are going to do what we want you to do underneath our rule, or you're going to basically be eliminated. Go over to London and look at what has happened to London. This isn't some sort of sci-fi imagery that you've got to put through AI and see this, Steven Spielberg-like movie. It's playing out in real time in Germany. It's playing in real time in Italy. It's playing in real time in the UK. And now we've just given the same blueprint. We've given the same keys to the mayor of the largest city in the world. The way this problem gets solved is to get more people to understand what it looks like when you lose your freedoms. Now, some of you will say, well, good, New York's going to get what they vote for. If you don't think that that's going to impact you, even if you live in a red state, you're wrong. What happened last night was an empowerment. More people are going to believe that they can be the next lieutenant governor like her. He made us all up Muslims. More people are going to feel like they could be the Mamdani. They're going to find these snake oil salespeople like Vance Jones sounded surprised. Oh, he could have been a little bit nicer. He was a nicer guy on the campaign trail. Yeah. Okay, Van. No doubt you've been asleep at the wheel. You need to be a Charlie Kirk. You need to be speaking about the power of faith, about the power of America, and about the poisons that come with Sharia and Islamic leadership. That's all you have to do. You just got to keep on pounding it in, pounding it in, pounding it in, pounding it in. You need to share. Everybody you meet. You have to educate yourself and learn about things that you can speak about intelligently. We have so many people who don't understand. You can walk up to anybody in your life and say to them, how many people do we take in each year? And they won't know. You could say, how much money does it cost for you, the taxpayer, to have to pay for those people? They won't know. They won't know. Be more educated in the statistics. Be more educated in their principles. Be more educated. Make sure that everything that Mamdani does, you are spreading and you are sharing. And you may say, well, nobody ever shares it. Nobody ever comments on it. Doesn't mean they're not looking at it. Write to the President of the United States. Go to his Truth Social. Go to his Twitter feed. Go to the White House's Twitter feed. Send letters. Say you don't want any more mass immigration into the country. It's got to stop. The more people you take into this country that are going to have to live on the teat of America, the more that we are going to lose our society and our culture. That wraps me up to the fourth thing. Why this is going to get worse before it gets better. But at the same time, you'll see me fight harder. AI is as dangerous to our short term as Mamdani is to New York City. Long term, it's worse than Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton put together. AI is going to drive so many people out of work, especially young people. You know, if for some reason AI was to drive me out of what I do tomorrow, I'd be okay. I'm ready to retire. I got enough. If I was a little short, I could sell my house, downgrade. I got enough. But the 20-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, the 40-year-olds, jobs are going to be eliminated. And there are not going to be enough new jobs in the world of AI to replace those who lose them. It's just fundamentally impossible. AI is designed to eradicate human error. So the best way to eradicate human error is to eradicate the human being from the process, to streamline it. So what's going to wind up happening in the United States of America based on AI and based on this own administration right here, you want to put AI towards military, you want to put AI towards health and medicine, so this way we could lead the world and we don't have to worry about China being able to come in and do nefarious things using AI. They already do them now, and we're still doing trade deals with them. Doesn't make sense to me. Imagine that for a second. Let me put the AI thing for the back. You've got a neighbor, and your neighbor every single day takes his garbage and dumps it on your front stoop. You got a neighbor that every single day comes over and spray paints your fence. You have a neighbor that every single day lets their dog crap on your lawn. You got a neighbor every single day that comes over and scratches and keys your car. You've got another neighbor, and he's coming over every single day and he's trying to covet your wife, or she is trying to covet your husband. You've got a neighbor who steals your mail. You got a neighbor who spies into your room. Whatever room you're in, he's got the binoculars and the telescope. You got a neighbor who is trying to tap your phones and steal everything they can out of your wallet when you are not looking. You got a neighbor who goes in and turns off your sprinkler system so this way you don't have water to do your lawn, and when you wake up in the morning, you're like, why does the lawn look so dry? You've got a neighbor who does everything possible to your children, to your dog, to your home, to your money, everything possible to destroy you. Are you going to go bake cookies and bring them over to the neighbor and say, hey, why don't we be friends and figure out how it is that we can do this at a better rate? Are you going to invite them into your house for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner and say, hey, let's have a meeting and let's talk about how it is that we could build a future together? No, you're going to cut them out of your life completely. Trade deal with China? We don't need China. It's a myth. We don't need trade deals with any of these scumbags. We're compromising ourselves all the time for money. So I come back to AI. You want to tell me we're going to build AI data centers and nuclear power plants? We're going to build them with U.S. money, with U.S. workers, with U.S. programmers, and we're going to do it primarily for the reason of national defense and for advancements in medicine, have at it. You want to tell me that we're going to allow AI to keep on metastasizing so this way it can eliminate jobs? No. Because here is what's going to happen. The most important thing that I have said today, and the last thing I will say today, with the exception of we have a video for the crazy left, and it's going to shock you. But if AI has its way in the next 2 years, not beyond that, just in the next 18 months to 2 years, President Trump is going to face a problem that his charisma and his Twitter feed cannot solve. And it is going to empower more Mamdanis, socialists, communists. AI is going to eviscerate jobs at a level that nobody expects. If you think you feel like crap today because we lost these very important elections, governor of Virginia, governor of New Jersey, lieutenant governor of Virginia, AG of Virginia, mayor of New York. I didn't even get into Proposition 50 in California of the redistricting there to try to fight back so Trump can't win in the midterms. Oh, my goodness gracious. When AI starts taking over jobs and people don't have money to pay their bills, when people don't have resources they need to eat and to travel and to have basics, when you've got what looks like a depression, not a recession, a depression in this country, you are going to force good people who would never, ever, ever imagine taking a welfare check or a handout or living on the government. You are going to force them into survival mode. And survival mode for most people is not going to be picking up their gun and going to civil war. Survival for most people is going to be, I will vote to protect my family from freaking not being able to eat, losing our house, whatever it may be. I will buy into those false promises. If you don't believe that, go look at the black community. They are stuck in continuously voting for the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party has held them down and keeps on giving and giving and giving and giving just enough to keep them alive, but never giving them enough to where they can break out. That's going to happen on a national level, regardless of color, regardless of religion. And so when you got the Mamdamis of the world saying, I give you free bus rides, I give you free rents, I give you free food, I give you free childcare, I give you free, and the guy on the other side, he's a meanie. He wants to just take it all away and give it to his rich friends, which, by the way, is what AI is going to do. Amazon is going to have a bigger stock price. They're going to eliminate the costs associated with labor. You're still going to need to buy their stuff until the day comes when you don't have money to buy your stuff. So then you'll get the money from the government, and then you'll still go back to Amazon and buy the stuff. And a robot will deliver it to you. Not the UPS driver who you know. Sal ain't going to be around. The post guy who you're going to give, $50 as a tip for Christmas, it ain't going to be him. It's going to be a robot delivering your mail. What you see in New York City is going to become a virus that cannot be contained if we do not do it now. Is it too late? It is not too late. They don't have the numbers on a national level, but they will. They will. I promise you, they will. So you need to fight. You need to fight for your family. You need to fight for your country. You need to fight for your God. When they scream, you scream louder. When they protest, you protest too. They come in and they invade your threads on your Facebook and your ex, you go and you do the same thing to them. They're kicking our ass right now in messaging. And all we're doing is infighting. And this comes to the crazy left. This is how I usually try to end every show. This is a prime example. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a prime example of somebody who you cannot trust. If you think that she's all America first and you think that she's all that, she is MTG first. She is Marjorie first. She has lost her way. She was on The View yesterday talking to 5 women who absolutely piss on our president and on our conservative values and on the Republican Party each and every day for an hour. And she's there making love to these girls on The View because she wants to get a bigger profile for herself. So today's entry into the crazy left is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who wants to fail to recognize that the 5 women on that stage would absolutely stab her in the back at any given moment because they've proved it to be true each and every day. She thinks that she's going to bring people together, Marjorie Taylor Greene. These people don't want to be brought together. That sand is out of the bottle. Barack Obama made it so this way this country cannot and ever not mend its ways. It is the left versus the right, and that is the way it's going to be. And to be quite honest, Donald Trump is not the kind of person who brings people together. He's the kind of person who does the same thing. He's oil and water. And that's all right. We need a fighter in there. We need a fighter in there. The days of 100% in America are long gone. This is a game of 50s. 51%, 52%, 53%. That's how it is. As sad as it is, I didn't make those rules. You can't blame me for when it rains on your birthday. You can't blame me for when it rains on your wedding. But I will give you the umbrella. We got to play the numbers game. That's why Curtis Lewa should have never stayed in. The numbers didn't work. You can pray. You can campaign. The numbers don't work. And for as long as you don't recognize that, you become a detriment. So what has to happen yesterday is that Trump and our team needs to start to look at the numbers, not trying to go on The View and become the best friend of the left. I'll bring us together. Play it, Ryan.
Do you think it's a good idea for the military to be marching into our cities and towns right now because maybe people don't like the speech that they're hearing? How do we combat that and get back to going after the people who really are the problems?
Well, you know, on speech, free speech, I want to say that I think that all of us right here are doing a great job of exchanging our ideas and things that we believe in, and we're doing it in a very professional and kind way. And in my opinion, I think we need more of that in America. I really do. And a lot of people wanted me to come on the show and say nasty things and you know, all of us to fight. They wanted all of us to fight.
Thank you for not doing that.
Oh my goodness, no. I didn't want to do that.
It's like 5-1.
She could handle it, but she didn't want to.
No, I didn't want to do that today because I believe that people with powerful voices like myself and like you, and especially women to women, we need to pave a new path. This country, our beautiful country, our red, white, and blue flag is just being ripped to shreds. And I think it takes women of maturity to sew it back together.
So she basically just said that Donald J. Trump's America, that Donald J. Trump as president is ripping this country to shreds. That's what she just said. And remember, her answer was to the question from Whoopi Goldberg about the raids of ICE. And that's the answer she gave. You should not trust that. She said, you know, a lot of people wanted me to come on this show and blah, blah. No. Nobody wanted you to go on that show. You wanted to go on that show People would have told you, you would have asked me, I would have said, don't go on that show. Why are you giving it any attention? How much attention do you need, Marjorie? Why are you going on that show for? They're not your friends. Why are you going to give them why are you giving them your time of day? And it's because she just wants to raise her profile. I'm going to read 2 things to you before I say goodbye. Actually, 3 things to you. Bill Ackman is a Jewish guy who is working with Charlie Kirk, who works a lot with Israel, and who basically about a week ago was warning that, Mamdani was going to be, the next importer of ISIS. And I don't disagree with him. But last night he puts out a tweet to Mamdani. Congratulations on the win. Now you have a big responsibility. If I can help New York City, just let me know what I can do. I don't know if that's Ackman's way of being, oh my God, he's going to come after me. But are you kidding me? If there's anything you can do, what do you think you're going to do? What do you think he's going to get from you? He's going to hate on you because you're a Jew. But nobody sees that. And therefore, I want to read something else that I had posted. It's a quote. It's a great quote. I don't know who exactly it comes from. I got to look it up. The forest was shrinking, but the trees kept voting for the axe. For the axe was clever and convinced the trees that because his handle was made of wood, he was one of them. There you go. There you go. I have a friend of mine, it's a family friend. Her name is Karen. She sent me a text message this morning. Karen doesn't send me text messages. It's not one of those things, but I guess she recognized what happened last night. And she sent me a prayer. It says, Father, thank you that your power is at work to strengthen me in order that I can have great endurance and accomplish great things. Thank you that I can put discouragement behind me and stir up my faith. I believe that I am called, chosen, and anointed to be an overcomer. In Jesus' name, amen. And then she wrote, thinking of you, my kind friend, my heart is heavy for New York City after last night. Trust that God always has a plan. Wishing you a blessed day. I don't know what God's plan is when it comes to Mamdani. I could only imagine that if he plays a role in this, which I believe he does, he's sending it to us in the same way he sent us Obama, as a massive wake-up call. We've got to do better. We will do better. We'll figure it out as we go along, even though I gave you some of the solutions here today. And I vow to work even harder tomorrow than I did today and than I did yesterday. That's it for me. I think I just got a text message about this. There's a girl who's got a very popular show on Rumble. She actually thinks it's a good thing that Mamdani is in power. Her name is Iverson. Kim Iverson, do you know that name, Ryan? Kim Iverson? And we'll send out an alert on the DML News app. If you haven't downloaded the DML News app, go to Google Play or Apple App Store. Just look DML News app, download it. We always send alerts whenever I'm doing anything. I'll post clips, obviously, but she wants to debate me politely about why Mamdani is a good thing. So that's it. All right. Thank you very much. Good job in the clips, Ryan. And for those of you out there who are losing your faith because you think you're losing your country, you're not crazy. Just don't lose your faith. If you lose your faith, the other side wins. That's what they want. They want you to give up. Be Rocky Balboa. Jump back off the mat. That's what I'm doing. Until the next time, may God bless you, your family, these United States, the people of New York City, people of Virginia, the people of New Jersey, and Donald J. Trump. We'll talk to you soon.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.